All right, so this is anecdotal, not science, but our product that we make just makes people rock hard. It like impossibly. I went to a festival this summer and we had somebody staying in the RV with us. So I'd have to like sit on the edge of the bed with my dick under my leg so I could go pee in the middle of the night. So last night we tried some samples, go to sleep. I wake up, I hear crash, crash, bang, bang. So I grab my gun and I run out in the kitchen. And the dude who's staying with us, he just dropped this big thing of, Parmesan on the floor. So I run out there with my dick pointed out of my boxers and my hands there. He's like, "Don't shoot! It's just the Parmesan."
Oh man, that's fucking great. Nothing worse than a fucking major piss boner when you got to go kill somebody in the kitchen. Oh man, that's great.
Listen up, I'm about to get done.
What's going on? It's time for another episode of Too Hard for the Radio. Transmitting from the future free state of Greater Idaho, I am the one-armed madman. Back with me today from Music City, America, we've got the great Daniel Steele. What's up, dude? That was a fucking
What's
great
happening,
story.
everybody? Yeah.
I have a similar story, but there was no hard dick involved. I moved a guy into my house, and on his first night, he decided to go out and hang out on the side of the street with a bunch of his friends in a car. And I go outside at like 1 a.m, and then one of them jumps out of the car. I'm like, holy shit. And I run back inside and go grab my fucking gun and, just like, fuck, what's going on here? And finally, like, the guy comes inside, and as he's coming inside, he's like fucking with the door and didn't get the lock right. So I'm like, holy shit. And I set myself up around the corner and I've got him, in fucking line. And then he walks in and I'm like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? I almost just killed you.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Dude, there's so much going on.
It's crazy. We've got a major show planned for today. I started doing production on Monday because I knew yesterday and today were bad for me. So yeah, we've got a whole lot of stuff to cover here, and we'll see what we can, right?
Yeah.
So should we start out with the trade war and just get right into it?
Yep. 200% tariff on blackface. That's why Trudeau fucking caved.
Oh, that might be a good show title. 200 on blackface. You never know. All right, let's go and check out some of the highlights from the trade war.
They told us taking over Canada would be easy. They couldn't have been more wrong. General Tim Horton's forces have us dug in and completely surrounded. Every night we fall asleep to the sounds of gunfire and to the sounds of Nickelback. Those damn Canucks will play for hours while we're trying to sleep. Top Brass tries to keep morale up by sending us cameos from the Costco guys. I thought we'd be fighting a bunch of Mounties or like weird French people dressed as mimes or something. Boy, I was wrong. These Canadians, they're as bloodthirsty as they are friendly. Every time we get hit with an artillery barrage in the distance, you can faintly hear one of them yell out, "Sorry about that." Still, they're not as wimpy as they look. Pray to God you never have to engage in hand-to-hand combat with one of them. Years of playing pond hockey have made them quite the formidable enemy.
I thought that was too good. I had to play it. It's so wild that like this has only been going on for like a week, and like from the looks of people, it's like, yeah, we're in a fucking war or something, And like I don't think that, like, for the most part, most of these countries aren't going to get tariffs. Trump's just trying to negotiate better deals and get in. It's stupid.
We have a president. I know we haven't had one for 4 years, but this is what it's like to have a president acting on behalf of the American people. People are like, "Whoa, what the fuck's going on?" Usually, like, where's the ice cream guy sniffing kids?
No shit, right? Like it's something. He has been so proactive. I'm very impressed. And I'm just loving the atmosphere on X because we've got freakouts and then other people are hopeful, and like it's just been a great couple weeks for his first run. Like if I was giving him a grade on what he's done so far, he's got an A+. Like there's
Yeah, like I'm almost sad that I didn't vote for him.
yeah.
Like, whoa, he's like doing the shit. Now with Canada, when he says we're getting a bad deal, I never realized the tariffs that they impose on us. 270% on milk, 245% on cheese, 298% on butter, 238% on chicken, 25% on steel, 45% on aluminum, 45% on TVs, but like do we even make TVs?
Yeah.
Like we just give them their shit. And a couple other points that I found interesting were one, they don't have the capacity to process crude oil.
Oh, I was just going to get into that. That was the thing that I was going to go on. I've got some. Anyway, we'll skip Pierre Poilievre because that's essentially what he was talking about was oil and how they've shot themselves into the foot and kind of pigeonholed them into selling to us. And like the reasons for that. Go ahead and then I'll get into it.
Yeah, so they pull crude oil out of the ground, and it's not. They don't have the capacity to process it.
Nope.
And they also shut down their West East pipeline that would run through central Canada. So their oil to just give Ontario oil runs through Wisconsin, Minnesota, Michigan, into Ontario. So like they have absolutely no leg to stand on.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, we're going to ban your bourbon." My buddy sent me a picture of the bourbon shelf that said, buy Canadian. It's fucking $88 in commie dollars. I don't know how much that's actually worth for a fifth of fucking bullet.
Yeah.
Like I would have been rioting if that was the case, but they're just like, "Oh, sorry. I'm just trying to get a drink."
So like just for some background on this, because I find this stuff to be very interesting. This is kind of why I started the podcast, is because I'm so into this like energy shit. There's two basic types of crude oil that we pump throughout the world. You've got a heavy sour crude, and then you've got a light sweet crude. The heavy sour crude comes out of Canada, comes out of the Balkans, comes out of a lot of places in America. So Canada, they pump about 5.5 to 6 million barrels a day of heavy sour crude. And like you said, they don't have the refineries to do it. They are able to refine like a little less than 2 million barrels a day on their refineries. In the United States, we have the capacity to refine a heavy sour crude. We also pump about 50% of our oil as a light sweet crude. So we have to export that because we're in the same position as they are. We don't have the refineries to do that. But imagine if like Canada just all of a sudden, okay, we're not going to sell to you anymore. Well, it's going to cost you an extra $10 to $30 a barrel to ship to a different country across the world that has the capacity to refine heavy sour crude. Like they don't have a choice but to sell to us. Like Pierre Poilievre made that point that they've shot themselves in the foot and put themselves in a bad position. But literally, this is the only option they have. Nobody else is going to buy their oil.
And it's cheaper than pumping it ourselves, buying it from them, which is pretty crazy. Which makes, I didn't look into why it's cheaper. I'm guessing it has to do with EPA and regulations, but that shit's gone. Just give Elon another 2 weeks.
Yep.
So yeah, all of these trade wars, nobody's in a position of power except the United States. And it's nice to see, regardless of how you feel about Trump or how I felt about him in the past, it's nice to see somebody leveraging the power of the United States.
Yeah, absolutely. Like we are the most powerful nation in the world, and we act like we're all of these small nations' bitch.
Yeah.
Like we really do. We're like a cuck to these smaller, like less powerful nations that do nothing for us. Like you said, like it's the same thing in Europe with tariffs. Like you can buy a Mercedes in any major city in this country in one day. You just go down, you buy it. There's not going to be any tariffs on it. But if you're living in Germany and you want to buy a Corvette, good fucking luck, buddy. Good luck. Yeah. Like you're going to pay a massive premium to buy a Corvette in any country in Europe.
But I can't buy a Toyota Helix here,
which is also stupid.
Yeah, like I guess that truck's just so good that auto manufacturers were like, no, 200% on that bad boy.
Yeah,
because it's only like $20K or $30K for like this indestructible truck.
And that's like that would be a great great vehicle for people right now. Like it costs you $100,000 to buy a pickup right now, which is just freaking crazy. If some company would just put out like a Helix, you have roll up windows, you don't put any electronics in it, you got vinyl seating so you can put your own seat covers over it. My first pickup was an 88 Silverado and I had vinyl seating in it with the dude, you could put a hose into that bastard and just hose it out. It was great. I had the electric windows and door locks, which were just a freaking nightmare on the 88. I had to take the door apart a couple times to replace that. So I wish I had the manual.
The round headlights?
Yeah. No, it was the square body. 88 was the older square body.
Okay.
It's before they went to... So, like, my biggest complaint with modern vehicles is that they've all copied the Escalade. When the Escalade came out, everything went from square body and kind of, like, less chrome and less gaudiness. And as soon as that Escalade came out, it had this massive chrome grille and these weird fucking headlights. And every other company has gone that direction with their trucks and SUVs. I did see that Chevy's going to put out a square body this year as like,
nice.
Which it looks kind of cool. You know, it's going to be a single cab, which, you know, like the original square bodies were single cabs, so I get that. But nobody wants a single cab now. Everybody wants an extended cab with 4 doors for the most part. But if you can make the thing for $20,000, I'll take the single cab.
Yeah, my buddy had a 93 or 94 Silverado SS with the 454 in it. It was one of the only years that they made it. That's one of the first vehicles I learned how to drive on. It was
such
a stick
badass
with a
vehicle.
454. That was so much fucking fun.
Yeah,
you couldn't drive that bitch in the rain though.
Yeah. So like I
drove it as his daily driver.
Oh, that's so sick. I worked at an auto shop when I was in high school. My mom was a like a customer service manager at an auto dealership when she was younger. And she hired a guy to be like their lot tender, wash the vehicles, stuff like that. That guy ended up becoming the head mechanic, like a GM master technician for that shop, and then opened his own shop in Cloverdale where I live. So like my mom and dad went in there when I was 15 and were like, hey, he needs a job. Can he work for you as soon as he gets his driver's license? He's like, he can work for me now. You know, we'll get once the driver's license is in, you know, then we'll work on it. My dad had this like, he called it the grinder. It was just like an 80s Honda Civic or something. He had a bunch of different grinders. You buy a grinder, blow it up, buy another one, blow it up, and just keep doing it as commuters. And the clutch was just garbage in it. You could barely use it. So he didn't want me driving the damn thing. So I didn't really learn how to drive a stick. So like my first week with a license, I'm fucking around with these European cars in the back lot and just like really getting my ass handed to me. And he was like, oh, you need to learn how to drive. I was like, well, I know how to drive. He's like, oh, no, you don't. You need to really learn how to drive. So he grabbed a Chevy Z28 Camaro, and we went out and went for a freaking run. And, oh, man, so much fun. By the end, I was double clutch shifting. And because I was a motocross racer, so like I can ride anything. I could figure out an engine and a clutch. I just need the opportunity to do it. And, fuck, that was so much fun.
Yeah, I sold cars right out of high school. And one of the funnest cars I drove was a Trans Am Ram Air. Oh. So it had a 350 in it. I actually drove it. My boss let me drive it on my wedding day. I was married for like 9 months when I was 21 or 20. That thing was so much fun. And there was and I got this dude like ripped me off, and he went to work at another car lot. And I'm like, hey, dude, you got to pay me. He's like, I'll give you the Saline Mustang for the day. So he gave me a brand new Saline Mustang in like 1997 or like maybe 1998. Yeah. Whenever the new one came out and everybody was excited, man, I had so much trouble getting the rubber out of the wheel wells. It had 2 miles on it when I started driving. I brought it back with like 250. So I think he got in trouble for that one.
At that same shop, we did all the tires on for a Dodge dealership. So when like Dodge wanted to put bigger tires and rims on a truck to sell or something, like we did that. So the owner of the dealership had a Viper, the V10 Viper, and he brought it in for tires. And my boss, like I was in front as he's talking to me, he's like, there's still some pretty decent meat on those tires. And he was like, yeah, well, maybe you should take care of that. We're like, oh, really? So we went out to a side road, and he was doing like J turns and, you know, like drifting and 360 through. He could actually drive. Like none of us were allowed to drive it, but like he was doing some crazy fucking moves in it. It was so cool.
those things were like driving a fucking lumber wagon. So
Yeah.
we were Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and then we bought a Pontiac GMC dealer. So I was in the used cars is where you make all your money when you
Yeah.
sell cars. When they bought the Pontiac GMC, they just moved that team in the used car department. Used cars were in between. So I got to drive quite a variety of those new fun cars, but the Viper I was just like not impressed with at all. Like obviously the V10 was fun and stuff,
Yeah.
but it's like compared like riding a Corvette
It
and
was
then riding
nothing.
a
It was
Viper.
nothing compared to a Corvette. Yeah. I mean, and dude, Corvettes are the coolest fucking cars. Like right now, I could go buy like a 2005 Corvette Z06 and just have a blast in it. You could get one for 20, 30 grand. It'd probably have 80,000 to 100,000 miles on it, but you could still have a blast in that car. Like they were so good back then that
The new ones are still 100K or less.
yeah, it's crazy. Like
Yeah.
how is it that you can get a fucking Corvette for the same price as a Silverado? It's so dumb, right?
Yeah.
It shows that they can make them for cheaper. They're just choosing not to.
Absolutely.
All right, I got one more video here on Canada, and then we'll get moving on.
Us. From the beaches of Normandy to the mountains of the Korean Peninsula, from the fields of Flanders to the streets of Kandahar, we have fought and died alongside you. During your darkest hours, during the Iranian hostage crisis, those 444 days we worked around the clock from our embassy to get your innocent compatriots home. During the summer of 2005, when Hurricane Katrina ravaged your great city of New Orleans, or mere weeks ago, when we sent water bombers to tackle the wildfires in California. During the day the world stood still, September 11th, 2001, when we provided refuge to stranded passengers and planes, we were always there, standing with you, grieving with you, the American people. Together, we've built the most successful economic, military, and security partnership the world has ever seen. A relationship that has been the envy of the world. Yes, we've had our differences in the past, but we've always found a way to get past them. As I've said before, if President Trump wants to usher in a new golden age for the United States, the better path is to partner with Canada, not to punish us.
So there's so much here that I have to respond to. From the beaches of Normandy to the Korean Peninsula, approximately 3,000 Americans died on D-Day. About 340 Canadians died. That's, right there with us. They're standing right there with us. You go down to Korea, 36,500 Americans died. 516 Canadians died. So again, they're there. And then you move on to Afghanistan. 2,461 Americans died and 158 Canadians.
I don't believe
He
that
is-
2,400 number.
Maybe not, whatever. But
That seems low.
the point is that they were not equals in this. They're just there. Like you said,
He sounds
we've
like
been
my
there.
fucking ex-girlfriend.
Exactly. I was there. You were there being a fucking lead weight on us,
And
essentially.
you killed my dog and then comforted me after.
Oh,
I'm kidding.
we let planes land in Canada on 9/11. Oh, good for you. Oh my gosh, you opened up an airport to an airplane. You're so fucking great. The one good thing that he said in there that was absolutely correct is that this is the most successful relationship in the history of and the envy of the world. Yes, absolutely. Every other country in the world wants to live rent-free in our guest house. Every other country. So yes, the relationship is an envy to the rest of the world because you guys get a free fucking ride.
And still somehow just destroyed your country.
Yeah.
That's one thing. Like, I sent you that like deep conspiracy about Obama. Do you have that?
I don't.
Oh, fuck. I might try to look for it.
Yeah, that's fine.
But-
Next time a video's playing or something.
Yeah. I guess it's relevant now, but it's like
I can read Trudeau's statement on tariffs while you look for it. How about that?
okay, yeah, will you?
So here's from Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada. I guess this guy stepped down, so I don't know why the fuck he's doing the negotiations after you've resigned, but apparently he is.
Yeah, let's double click on that. I thought he resigned.
I looked
What
it
the
up.
fuck
He
are you
did
doing?
resign. So why the fuck is he doing the negotiations? That is so crazy. Like, I don't get it. I didn't have time to look into it very deeply, but he did resign. Like, absolutely did. So I don't understand this. I figured Pierre Poilievre would be the guy doing the negotiations, but anyways, here's from Trudeau. I just had a good call with President Trump. Nice that he's actually calling him president. Most of these guys say Mr. Trump just to slight him a little bit. Canada is implementing our $1.3 billion border plan, reinforcing the border with new choppers, technology, and personnel, enhanced coordination with our American partners, and an increased resources to stop the flow of fentanyl. Nearly 10,000 frontline personnel are and will be working on protecting the border. In addition, Canada is making new commitments to appoint a fentanyl czar. We will list cartels as terrorists, ensure 24/7 eyes on the border, launch a Canadian-U.S. joint strike force to combat organized crime, fentanyl, and money laundering. I have also signed a new intelligence directive on organized crime and fentanyl and will be backing it with $200 million. Proposed tariffs will be paused for at least 30 days while we work together. This is crazy. This guy could have put this plan into place anytime. And all it really took was Trump just going, yeah, we're going to hit him with some tariffs. He didn't have to do anything. Joe Biden could have done this at any point in time, anytime he wanted to. He didn't.
Joe Biden wasn't the president.
Anybody could have done it, is the point. Like, this could have been done. It got done in one day. Trump barely had to lean on him, and he caved. Took it in the ass.
I sent you that link.
Oh,
I don't
shit. I saw that, and I forgot to click. Okay, here we go. Here we go.
What? Yeah, go ahead.
Aid, something unbelievable happened for us in the FBI. We were getting lots of rumors about this high-level asset that worked for several intelligence
Lindsey
agencies
Graham.
at the same time. He worked for the Saudi intelligence service. He worked for the CIA, and he was being developed as a political asset in Chicago, Illinois. He was not even a United States citizen, but it was said that he was a student visa and that he was a national from another country. In 2008, everyone in the intelligence structure found out who he was. It was this individual whose name I don't like to say, who became president in 2008 of the United States.
And I will faithfully execute
the office of President of the United States.
the office of President of the United States.
One of his code names was Renegade. His real name was Barry Sortoro, but he adopted a different name for his political career. When they ran him for president, the cabal, basically, this was the culmination of so many of their plans for so many years. His mission was to destroy the United States from within, one institution at a time. One of the things he did, of course, was he defunded our military. He brought down the resources that they got. But then he ordered our military in many, many instances and in various theaters to attack our allies and to defend and supply and help our enemies. That's exactly how he created ISIS. He would say publicly that the military were going to bomb our enemies, but then he would have the military actually bomb enemies of ISIS, our allies. He gave ISIS funding and equipment by basically ordering our military to take equipment into a certain theater and then abandon it. And the commanders would say, that's ridiculous. We'd just be handing that stuff over to ISIS. And the president's office would say, don't question orders, just follow your orders. And that.
Wow. You know, there was an interesting exchange during the inauguration where after, I don't remember exactly when it happened, but Barron walks over to Barry Toro.
So I saw
and
another.
He leans in and he goes, "It's on." And then his mom tells him, "Be nice."
Oh, to Barry?
Yeah, he leaned
Oh,
in to Barry Soetoro, Barack Obama, and he got close, and you can read his lips. He goes, "It's on." And then he walks over and stands next to his mom, and she goes, "Be nice." Ooh, that's spicy. That's spicy.
So I wrote that screenplay, the middle management,
Yeah.
or not the screenplay, the treatment. It just like it's a funny way to describe how America's falling apart. But it seems like, and we can get into USAID after that, after this, because I think that makes sense.
Yep.
It seems like somebody's trying to destroy America from within.
It really does.
And it seems like it started around when Obama got in office. But who knows? Like Clinton, dude, Clinton years were the best years of my life up until I got married, and there's a big gap there.
But
And
like,
then,
dude, I was old enough during the Clinton administration. I don't remember a lot of it, but I don't remember him like actively trying to destroy the country.
yeah, yeah. But who knows? Like, I wasn't paying attention. I was
Me
like,
neither.
in my fucking late teens, early 20s, just slaying. Just learned about Starbucks. Got my first cell phone, man. Gas, 1999, New Year's Day, 1999. I paid 99 cents a gallon for gas. I think that was the last time I remember paying that. And it was just like so great. I just kind of lived as this free person. Didn't really have, like, I sold cars for quite a while up until 9/11, but I was fucking gone every weekend, just slaying pussy. And it was what an amazing time. And then, was, oh, then 9/11 happened. Things got pretty bad, but it was still pretty good. And then Obama got in and it just got fucking,
'08, dude. My life was so fucking hard in '08, and I had no idea why. Like, it was impossible for me to find a job. I was living in, like, I made a stupid decision and moved from Southern California back in with my dad in Northern California. He was a fucking raging drug addict. I couldn't find a job. Like, I was doing tree work when I could, but tree work would dry up at certain times. I got seasonal work at the winery, but it's just seasonal, and it was a brutal job. It's 7 days a week, 8 hours a day. You can't miss a single day if you want to get hired on. I couldn't do that. Like, I was a drug addict at the time. And like, dude, there was nothing for me to do during that time period, even like Santa Rosa. So like at one point I got in trouble and I had like a V8 Dodge pickup. It was a 1500 V8 four-door Dodge pickup. Got horrible mileage, 10, 12, maybe 15 on the
it was
freeway.
a 355.
Yeah. The Hemi. It was the Hemi. Yeah.
Oh, it was the Hemi?
Yeah, dude, it was so fast. Like, it was a badass truck. I really liked it. But the problem is like, they gave me, I had to do community service, and then I also had to do AA. There's no AA in the town that I live in. You have to drive 30 miles. There's no community service in the town I live in. You have to drive 40 miles. So it's like, I'm broke. I'm a drug addict. I don't have a job. And now I have to not only commute to like take care of the shit that I'm supposed to for my probation, but you have to pay to do that stuff as well. You have to pay to do community service. And it's like, how am I supposed to do that? Gas is $5 a gallon. I have nothing. And like, I couldn't do it. And I ended up just having to take the jail time because there was no way for me to complete the probation.
Yeah.
And when I was in
blame
jail,
Obama.
I got great advice from somebody. He was like, dude, just take the time. And I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, you're going to get like 60 or 90 days, or you're going to have to deal with this probation bullshit. And like, who knows, if you get in trouble again while you're on probation, it's just going to make everything worse. Just take the time. And I was like, fuck, I'm just going to take the time. And I did. And I got 90 days and it was 2/3 time. So I was out in 60 days and then it was cleared and done. USAID?
Yeah. It's not USAID. That was one thing that I learned this week. It's not USAID. It's not just aid and we're helpful for people. It was a fucking slush fund for the Democrats.
Which is why all these guys are freaking out.
The craziest part of this, I mean, not really, but just seeing the freak out from the media, we got receipts. Elon found the payments to the Wuhan lab where COVID started up until 2019, and that's not the fucking headline of everybody's. Like, why are we not? out on the streets right now.
It's crazy. I saw that, and then I also saw Rand Paul having some lady up in front of, Senate, and he's just grilling her like, we have been asking for these documents for years, and you are stonewalling us. We got nothing. That's not true. We've provided. He's like, no, I'm on that committee too, and that committee has nothing. Like, you have given us nothing, and you are sitting up here lying, saying that you have. And then Elon was just able to grab it. That's so fucking badass.
And they're, dude, like, what's his name? Jeffries?
Yeah,
And
Hakeem
Schumer.
Jeffries.
Hakeem Jeffries. Like, I don't know much about that dude, but I can tell you he's evil because he just does all the lines, like all of the media. Oh, this guy that nobody elected has access to the payment system. How the fuck do you think the payment system worked before? Did you think it was your state senator sitting there issuing payments? No, there was some dude that nobody elected, that nobody knows, that was given a directive to approve 100%. 100% of payment requests were approved during the Biden administration. No due diligence, no nothing. Just everything was approved. Blank check to everybody.
Yeah.
We gave millions to the Soros DA fund. They took our tax dollars and gave it to probably the most evil person ever.
A guy who is
in my
literally
opinion.
trying to destroy the country from within.
The guy trying to destroy the country and get like, dude, there was during the Summer of Love, there was a mostly peaceful protest in Austin where somebody pulled an AR on a guy in his car. The guy shot him, and the guy ended up getting, it was a Soros DA. His case ran through, and he ended up getting prison time for somebody's pointing an AR at him, and he shot him in self-defense. Abbott pardoned him, but like
the fact that he had to get pardoned is insane.
Yeah, we paid for that. We paid $44 million for a gas station in Afghanistan that never had a single customer. We paid like, I don't want to harp on DEI because everybody I almost think that that's distracting at this point.
It's almost like a Trojan horse just to get everybody talking.
Well, no, because it's just going to be an arguing point. Like,
exactly.
Yeah. So, but like let's look at the rest of this waste. It's fucking incredible.
Yeah.
$50 million for condoms in Gaza, but it wasn't the Gaza Strip. So everybody's like, you fucking idiots. It's not the Gaza Strip. It's someplace in Africa. I don't give a fuck.
Who cares?
I'm not paying. Who needs condoms?
Figure it out yourselves. I mean, stop wasting your own money. Stop starting wars. Stop fucking allowing, like, in Africa, like, every country in Africa is corrupt. There's just every one of them. There's paramilitary groups running shit. There's terror groups running. Like, every country in Africa is extremely good, and we're just throwing them money. And I guarantee
we're just as bad.
We are absolutely just as bad, but we have money to throw around and they don't, And it's just, I want to play this video real quick because this is just infuriating to me. Here's Pocahontas.
Of America's payment system. This is the system. In the building behind me, Elon Musk is seizing power from the American people. We are here to fight back. A few months ago, Elon Musk spent $280 million to buy an election for Donald Trump. Now, Elon Musk is here to collect on his investment. He is here to seize power for himself. We are here to fight back.
All right, I think we get the picture. That's enough. It goes on for like 4 minutes, and we don't need to go through. The thing that really infuriates me is that there are thousands of normal people standing around here cheering for this shit. How in the fuck do these idiots not realize that this is why we're broke? This is why you can't afford a house. This is why your job doesn't pay you enough. Like, every fucking thing that is causing your life just to be miserable right now is caused by our government taking your money and giving it to other people. And you've just got these idiots. What do you think is going to happen to that money? Nothing good is happening with it. Period.
Look at it like Haiti. Look at Haiti.
Yes. Great
Billions
point.
of dollars to the Clinton Foundation while Hillary Clinton was Secretary of State for Haiti. And now look at that shithole.
Yeah. This is just a communist mindset that money grows on trees. I've got another one on the communist mindset real quick. Let's see if I can fucking find it. Because this woman is just out of control. Oh, come on, baby. See, this is what happens when you make too much shit. I don't know where it is. But anyways, let's see. This is some great radio right here. Here it is.
Because we could have literally had free food, free housing, free healthcare for everyone, enhanced social safety nets, and universal basic income, and y'all voted for a dictator. I'm also mildly frustrated because this is what the results from the election come out, and then we think that we can do a revolution right now. I think we need to get everyone on the same page first for a minute. But yes, absolutely, there is one coming on this way, but give it a minute, get people on the same page.
Everybody could have free food and free housing and universal basic income, but you voted for a dictator. It's like, you remember when we were kids and they used to teach us money doesn't grow on trees. You have to be responsible for your money. Well, that was a complete fucking lie because money does grow on trees. You just have to be close to the money tree. We don't have a money tree in our yard and we're never going to get one. But the fact that these people just think everybody can have everything for free, it's just ridiculous.
So I'm going to send you another link. I'm sure you've heard this, but I want to play it for the audience. Because when this person, I'm not going to assume their pronouns, is talking about organizing, this is how they organize. Just play that link, please.
Yeah. Oops. Come on.
If we want to defeat capitalism, we are going to need a party that will organize working people to fight for the demands that we want and to win socialism. Thank you so much.
Win socialism.
Quick point of privilege. Quick point of personal privilege.
Yes.
Guys, first of all, James Jackson, Sacramento, he, him. I just want to say, can we please keep the chatter to a minimum? I'm one of the people who's very, very prone to sensory overload. There's a lot of whispering and chatter going on. It's making it very difficult for me to focus. Please, can we just, I know we're all fresh and ready to go, but can we please just keep the chatter to a minimum? It's affecting my ability to focus. Thank you.
Thank you, comrade. Okay, is there a speaker against name, chapter, pronoun?
Point of personal privilege.
Yes.
Please do not use gendered language to address everyone.
I love it. When that person is talking about we need to get our shit together and organize, these are their meetings.
We almost gave the country to these people.
No, those people would be just useful idiots.
For sure.
When you think about how Hitler sterilized the mentally ill, according to history. Now think about all of these castrations and stuff that they're doing to children. They're just they're making it so that the dumb idiots who are getting them in power can't fucking reproduce anyway.
That's the only good news about these people is they're going to just we're going to outbreed them at some point. But I feel so sorry for kids who get adopted by these fucking monsters. It's just
with a very high frequency they get abused.
Yeah.
Not I got hit with a belt, but how my cousin abused me.
Did you see the video of God, what's her name? She's an actress. Let me see. I tweeted it the other day. Jamie Lee Curtis. Did you hear her fucking ranting?
Yeah.
She was born with a penis. It's not a surprise that her kids are now trans, right? And she looks and sounds like an angry old man while she's talking. She literally looks like an angry old man.
She has that Mark Cuban look for sure.
Yeah, dude. Full on. And she was hot at one point. True Lies,
Yeah.
But anyways, it's something. These fucking people are really insane,
I got some breaking news. Like, I just cannot listen to Pocahontas talk.
No,
so I
me
like
neither.
looked at my phone so I didn't get too annoyed.
Yeah.
Trump said we're taking over Gaza and we're going to rebuild it.
Hey, why not? What are you gonna?
Why?
I mean,
well,
it's got oil.
So,
that's what he's thinking.
Huh?
It's got oil. That's all he's thinking.
Well, no. Think about like. All right, so this guy's delivered on everything so far. And there's no way he doesn't see, I know I'm not going to go into my beliefs there, but what if he is leading? Because he has said that God saved him from that bullet so that he could save America.
Yeah.
So what if he's starting the next crusade by taking over Gaza?
That'd be awesome. Our next segment is actually on colonialism, and I brought this out the other day. This is fun. Let me just show this off real quick. Now, this is my uncle, William Seward, who purchased Alaska. He was Lincoln's indispensable man. He was an interesting guy. He was an abolitionist, but also a Manifest Destiny guy. So I literally have colonialism running through my veins. So
you're related to him?
Yeah, he's my uncle. And like my
my
great grandmother's last name was Seward before she got married.
Look at the area code on my phone number.
Yeah.
I lived in the town where he was from.
Seward?
For quite a while. Yeah.
That's cool.
Harriet Tubman had a house there too.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, he's an interesting guy. I haven't read the whole book, but it's one of these deals where like you look at the past and you look at how people thought, and like I got into arguments with ChatGPT about like how he would align with contemporary politics. And it's like, oh, he'd be a liberal. And it's like, no, he wouldn't. He fucking bought Alaska and kicked all the natives. He's not going to be a liberal. Are you fucking crazy? And it's like, oh yeah, and by the end, it's like, yeah, he's probably an American First Republican, and it's just it's an interesting story. So we've got Greenland.
The town was called Auburn, or is called Auburn, New York.
Yeah,
and it's pretty interesting when they were divvying up things for the state of New York. Seward got the choice to choose between a prison and the Erie Canal. And he's like, well, there'll always be prisoners. So for my town, we're getting the prison. And Syracuse got the Erie Canal. Syracuse blew up. It's huge. And Auburn is just like, it's maybe a 6-hour drive from the city, even though it's in New York. And what ends up happening is the wives of the prisoners like can't afford to come up there all the time, so they just move up there. Because back when I lived there in like right around 2008, 2006 through 2010, I think I lived there. You could rent a pretty decent place with 2 bedrooms for like $600 a month, and it's just a shithole of a town.
Yeah.
But I still have friends there. One joke I played on my friend, I had him in the basement of my house, and he was smoking a bowl. And he's like, oh, man, I just can't believe Harriet Tubman. There's so much history here and Harriet Tubman and everything. I'm like, yeah, listen, if you listen real close, you can still hear the Underground Railroad. And so I was like...
I went to Seward, Alaska, which was cool. Like I went on a cruise to Alaska with my family it was right after I graduated high school. My grandfather decided he didn't want to have the family reunion at his house because it was just a nightmare to do that. So he bought a cruise for everybody. And like I had just went to Cancun and partied my fucking ass off. So I wasn't really fired up about going to Alaska. And dude, it turned out like it was so fun. It was so much fun. Like I got so drunk. I had a fake ID, and like my family knew I had a fake ID. So as soon as we got onto the ship, I gave my ID to my mom, and she goes into like, I don't know, somebody. And she was like, hey, my son just, tried to grab a drink before he went and took a nap. And they said that he's only 18 and here's his ID. He's 21. They're like, oh, okay. We'll just change that in our system right now. So I got to drink the whole time, and I got in a lot of trouble. I actually got yelled at by the captain because one night I had bought like a bottle of 151 from the tax and duty free shop. And I took a bunch of golf balls and a golf club, and I was just lighting golf balls on fire and launching them off the back of the ship with a baseball bat or something like that. And like I had done a bunch of other shit. I got fucked up in the pool, and like I threw all the furniture into the pool, and I was climbing a palm tree or something like that. It was, and like, I actually got pulled into the captain's office and yelled at and told me if I didn't get my shit together, he was leaving me in Alaska. I was like, okay, I'll calm down now. I promise.
I had this friend, it is in the 90s. She's a big girl, but she was really nice, but she just couldn't find a dude like that matched her niceness. And so she's like, there's like 3 guys for every girl in Alaska. She just packed her shit and drove to fucking Alaska.
Dude, it's such a badass place. Like, you don't actually grasp like how much land there is until you start flying over Alaska. Or like, so we took a train from like, I think it was Anchorage all the way into Denali Park. And you're just in the middle of nowhere the entire time. There's nothing. And every once in a while, you'll see a 4-wheeler off to the side, and you're like, what the fuck is that doing there? And then you look around and like, oh, there's a house way back there, because you can actually homestead still in Alaska. It's like the only place in the country where you can still homestead. You can go out in the middle of nowhere. You got a 4-wheeler and a snowmobile, and you just follow the train tracks until there's nothing around. You go out a half a mile and you build yourself a place and you have a great life. And dude, it was so cool. Like, some of the shit that we saw was just incredible. Like, at one point we went over this bridge on the train and like, we're going slow so everybody can see it. And there's like king salmon down there. They're just red and they're huge and they're at like hundreds and hundreds of them. It's like, Jesus, you could go down there and pitchfork 100 of those things in 20 minutes. No problem.
And their mouths are hooked shut at that point, right?
They are. Yeah. It's a wild place. You know, Denali you don't realize, like, I've seen big mountains before. I've seen St. Helens. I've seen like the biggest mountains in like Mount Hood, the big mountains in Oregon and Washington. There's some big fucking mountains out there. When we got off, like, we went train and then we took a bus to like the resort that we're staying at, and we pull in and you see these massive mountains. You're like, holy shit, that is fucking incredible. And you think you're looking at Denali, but Denali was blocked by the building. We get out on the back porch and it's just like, holy shit. Like, this is beyond anything I ever could have imagined. And it's so big. And like, we got lucky. Apparently, like, Denali is so big that it makes its own weather. So 99% of the time, you can't see the top of the mountain just because it's socked in with weather. But on the day we got there, it was 105 degrees and the mountain was just completely clear. So we have a picture of a thermometer that says 105 degrees with Denali in the background. Just like,
oh, wow.
It's like, it was so fucking rad.
I didn't know that it got that warm up there.
Oh, yeah. It gets hot in the summertime.
When was this?
Early July. Late June.
What year?
2004.
Global warming.
Obviously, right? But it was something, man. You know, we're flying back and there's big fires everywhere. And the pilot's like, yeah, there's a fire. We just let them burn. You know, nothing you can do about it out here.
And they don't get as bad because
exactly.
It's not...
And he's explaining to everybody, a lot of these trees need fire to reproduce. So it's a natural process. And, you know, it may look destructive, but this is actually the best thing that could be happening right now.
This is nature. We're not fucking with it.
Right?
I watch a lot of hunting shows. And a lot of it's in Alaska. Not because I like hunting, just because I like men whispering to me. No, I'm kidding.
I love the sound. What's the guy's voice? The guy on Netflix that goes on Rogan all the time.
Oh, Steve Rinella.
Steve Rinella gets me hard at night.
Oh, dude, I like the way that he uses the English language. He's very astute.
He's so smart for like an outdoorsman. Like, most outdoorsmen don't have that ability to communicate in the way that he does. And like, dude, the fact that he like writes books and he writes books, like he's the fucking man. Like, that dude is a badass. That's like, if I had kids, I'd be like, you watch that guy, be like that guy. That's who you want to be.
And for the listeners, if you're into like really cool hunting shit, Brian Call, Call, Gritty, they put out these, they're as well produced almost as Meat Eater, but they're not nearly as big. And they just dropped like 5 or 6 episodes this week. I mean, that's all I've been watching in my free time.
Cool.
I just like, shit's going so fast, I can't keep up with it. And it's like, there's the world that I'm seeing happen where like things really good are happening for our country. And then the world that I live in where everybody's outraged. I'm like, I just can't even compute how fucking stupid these people are.
Yeah.
So I just check out and I let men whisper to me.
Yeah. Dude, I remember during the summer of love, like I was talking to somebody about, oh, everything's going up in flames. It's like, if you turned off the news and went outside, everything's fine. Like nothing's happening where I live. You know, it was fine. Like,
yeah, I actually took like the day. So I saw the Rittenhouse thing happen live.
Oh, wow.
On Twitch. And my wife did too. And it made her start crying.
That must have been intense.
Yeah. And like at that point, I like just kind of deleted everybody that I followed at the time on Twitter, and I just went back to jokes for a while. But now I'm back to it. Like my algorithm always ends up at politics anyway. Even like I have my account at DT Steel, my professional, and then I have one that I just shit post from, and both of them are just full of politics now.
Yeah.
Which then I get to sit here and talk with you about it, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, let's play some of these Greenland videos. Here's I don't know, some guy that's a fucking politician or something.
Some politician.
Oh shit! It fucked my. Here we go.
President Trump. Dear President Trump, listen very carefully. Greenland have been part of the Danish kingdom for 800 years. It's an integrated part of our country.
Like
it is not for sale. Let me put it in words you might understand. Mr. Trump, fuck off.
The person, this fucking guy. If he wants it, we're gonna get it. You know, we're gonna get it if he wants it. If he really does want it, it's gonna happen.
We're getting it. Here is just something that I pieced together. I don't know how accurate this is, but we pulled out of the WHO. Trump threatened to pull out of NATO. And then today we pulled out of the UN.
Whoa.
Or part of the UN.
Sorry. I was
Trump sent Rubio over to talk to the head of NATO. And now the head of NATO is negotiating on our behalf.
Stoltenberg, right? I heard that. Yeah. And it makes sense, dude. Like, if you're really concerned with global security like the UN is supposed to be, you would want America, like, overseeing the Northern Sea Passage, especially if we do get, like, the big deal is, like, that there could be a new sea passage opening up if, you know, global warming and the melting of the ice caps and all that.
Shit changes. How about that?
Shit changes. That's a better way of putting it because, you know, shit changes. That's nature, like fires, you know? And
speaking of NATO, how wasn't this also like, so the two bombshells this week, one, Elon showed the receipts for how we funded COVID all the way up to patient zero in 2019. Okay. One. Two, Zelensky gets on the news and talks himself that the U.S. claims to have given 177 billion and he's only gotten 75 of it. How are these two things not just like the thing? What the fuck?
It's that fucking communist mindset where people look at that and they go, oh, well, the other money must have been for something good. You know,
no,
it wasn't people buying cocaine or buying, you know, extra homes or, you know, like all these people freaking out. Elizabeth Warren, Hakeem Jeffrey, all these guys are in on the take. That's why they're so fucking freaked out about this USAID thing, because it is like you said, it is a massive fucking slush fund. It's all it is.
And during the LA fires, I watched a neighborhood burn that was all Ukrainian generals. And they were all $5 million plus houses. And I'm like, God, this is going to be so expensive for us to rebuild these Ukrainian generals' houses.
And they need those
fucking,
They need those homes because as soon as Trump ends this thing, they're going to be on the chopping block. If not, like, hopefully for their sake, I don't care, but for their sake, I'm hoping that they got enough of the Nazis killed on the front lines to where they're not going to be hung for, you know, making a deal.
Well, all these people are going to end up in Syria and Cyprus. Do you know about Cyprus and how that's structured?
Not exactly, but I know that's where people go.
Okay, so Cyprus is divided in half. Part of it's Greek and part of it's Syrian. Pretty sure it's Syria. the international community does not recognize Syria and Cyprus as its own country. So, like, if Pablo Escobar would be a great example, if he like just tried to get away, he could go to Syria and Cyprus, and they would send arrest warrants to Syria, and Syria would say, "Nope, that's its own country," but nobody recognizes it. So, like, the worst of the worst end up there, and then Greek Cyprus. If you spend 2 million euros, you get a Cypriot passport. So I actually went there, and it was spring, Saturday night, fucking beautiful, like maybe 75 degrees. We go down to this harbor where all the houses and mega yachts are. Not a single light in all of these multi-million euro condos, not a single light on a yacht. These Russian oligarchs will go and buy the 2 million and then get a European passport, so they aren't flagged as fucking Russians.
Yeah, man, it's just such a fucking disgusting display of like elitism. You know, they live in a different world than us. You know, all that shit that I was talking about, like how hard it was for me during 2008, they never have to deal with that. They just don't.
No, they bought
the
dip in property.
Like Chuck Schumer, like I was going to play a video of Chuck Schumer on here. Like I've got one, I think. Let me see if I can. Yeah, here's Chucky. Oops, wrong one. Wrong one. Here he is. Oh, come on, bitch. I'm going to have to do this a different way next week. It's too fucking...
And now I'll show you my next trick, okay? I'll drink one Mexican beer, okay? Most of it, Corona here, comes from Mexico. And I'm shoving this up my ass. I just wanted to protest like the Mexicans, and this is all I could come up with. I hope it's okay with you guys.
Go ahead. Chuck Schumer has been in government his entire life. He's literally never held a job in the private sector. Not once. Not once. That is fucking insane that we have a system that allows for somebody to do that. Like, we have got to get a handle on this shit. Otherwise, it's just never going to change. I hope that, I hope they take Nicole Shanahan seriously because, like, I hope she's actually being serious is more of what I would like to say. That primary these fucking people. Get them out of here. Like, this has got to end.
So in 2018, guess Schumer's net worth.
Oh, in 2018, let's say 15 million.
1.1 million.
Okay.
Which is reasonable for somebody that makes $250,000 a year. Seems fine. Guess his net worth in 2024.
After COVID, he's got to be...
After Biden.
Yeah, after all that, he's got to be 10 to 20 million.
81 million.
Oh my God. That is just... Oh, that's infuriating.
But you know,
got to end.
Yeah. What's interesting is, okay, Schumer just got his money in the past 6-7 years.
Yeah.
But the people who've been getting money for a long time, they're all fucking silent about this USAID thing.
Yeah.
You haven't heard from the Clintons. You haven't heard from Obama. You haven't heard from the Bushes. They're all like, all right, jig's up. Like, let's find those extra passports, get ready to go to Cyprus or wherever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do have one more USAID video it's got an interesting little nugget in it. So we already saw Pocahontas, and there's other Jamie Raskin. There's all these people that are, they're going to insurrect essentially the USAID building as if that's going to do any fucking good at all. So here they are. They're done grandstanding out front. Pocahontas is done with her fucking speech, and here they are going into the building. God. I got to do this a different way next week.
Okay, so you are aware this agency is very busy currently, and they are not able to take a meeting currently. They advise that they will be in contact shortly, and that best to contact the Department of State at this time if you need any further comments.
Who is they?
The front office of the administrator.
So could I just ask, are you with AID?
I am.
Thank you for your service.
Well, thank you for reaching.
Fuck you.
Are the Doge people here?
I don't.
Are they in this building now?
We have 8 employees.
We have 8 employees.
That's all I know. I don't know specific who Doge is or any of that. I just know that 8 employees are here. Although, as you are all aware, it's in the press. Everybody's been asked to telework. There are select people here to provide services for the agency. So
8 people in the building. Everybody else is on telenetwork. 8 people. How the fuck can you run a massive organization like that with 8 fucking people and everybody else is at home? All of these people have got second jobs. They're just, it's really disgusting. Like, my mom works for the Idaho Supreme Court, and she's been working out of home for the most part since COVID. And like, they're going back, and she's bitching and complaining. And I'm like, hey, you know what? I feel for you. I wish that you personally didn't have to go back to the office, but the fact that, like, you've been able to sit at home, and she's working hard. I have no doubt that she's working hard. She's a hard worker, but she has also told me that other people do not. The fact that you guys are able to do that on the on our tax dollars is ridiculous. You need to get up and go to work just like everybody else.
Here's a couple of numbers, and this is from memory, so it's not exactly perfect, but it gets the point across. This is pre-USAID disclosures. The Pentagon was spending over $2 million a year on sushi. One of the departments...
Is that a pedo thing? I know, we got hot dog. Like, what could sushi mean, right?
One of the departments was ordering $240,000 a month of cinnamon Starbucks K-Cups to one of the empty buildings.
Yeah.
Where nobody's going. So they have to have this huge stockpile. A single paper cup that they were using to pour that coffee into was costing us $1,280 fucking dollars.
Yep.
For a paper cup.
Yep. We played a video on the pod a while back where this guy held up a bag of bushings, and he goes, "How much do you guys think these bushings cost?" And we're like, "I don't know, a couple $100. $80,000 for a bag of bushings." I don't remember the exact number statement. But essentially, like, this is a bag of bushings that costs somebody $50 or $60 to produce, and they're jacking up the price because it's a slush fund, and that money is going somewhere.
But $1,280 for one single paper cup, and nobody raised a hand.
Yeah.
Nobody's like, you know what? Maybe we can get those for a penny.
And maybe those cups didn't even exist. Like, I would bet money that you could go in there and those cups might not even be there, because it's not about the cups. It's about the money, right? It's the same type of thing that, like Zelensky was saying, you gave us 177. I've only got 77. Where's the rest? So you probably go in there, find a stack of solo cups from Costco,
Yeah. And, one thing on the trade tariffs, we didn't touch on China, because that's like kind of the sub-headline.
Yeah.
And it's probably the most important, in my opinion, because I think there's actually going to be tariffs there. So Gap and another big retailer, one paid like $500 million, the other paid $700 million in tariffs. There's this loophole where if it's a product for a consumer and it's less than $800, there's no tariff at all. So all of the Temu, all the money that the billions and billions of dollars that Temu made, that all came tax-free to Temu.
Wow.
Or tariff-free to Temu. And then, like, there's definitely something disproportionate there. I know that.
Why do you think they did 10% on them and then heavier on everybody? My thought is he's going hard on Mexico and Canada because he wants things from them, not necessarily trade agreements, but like border security type of shit. And like, I think he was just giving a big ask in order to. I don't understand the 10% thing on China.
I think because he actually wants 10%.
Okay. That's kind of like, where I was thinking is like that's a fair number.
I don't know the relationship with China that well. I think that I think that a lot of that will get absorbed by China. So like their margins are high enough, because like if you cut China off from the US, we'd be done getting cheap shit.
Yeah,
whatever.
we suffer hard.
It's just cheap shit though that we don't need. Like, okay, phones and our chips come from Taiwan, which isn't China, but phones and chips, sure, like that'd be a pain, but like everything that we buy is so cheap. like just so poorly made. Like it would be nice to have American made or good quality shit once again.
Absolutely. Or at
so
least
it
the
would hurt.
option, right? Like give me the option.
Yeah. But you can't make it. I think that just like thinking long term from 10,000 feet, the Tesla robots, and I guess there's a number of other people doing robots as well, like could replace that slave labor from China for us.
That'd be great.
So if you put that 10% tariff on it, as long as we can get the things that we need, and we're really lacking rare earths, which makes Greenland really interesting too.
Yes.
Because China they're building a new Silk Road and going straight from like the south of Africa all the way through China, or all the way through to China, between ports, seaports, and highways. There's going to be a direct route eventually. And what they're doing is they're loaning the money to these countries that can't afford to pay it. And then when they don't pay it, China repossesses it. Now China has control of that area.
Very smart.
And they're pulling all of the resources out of Africa. Like, and you hear about how slavery was brutal, and it was. Like, I've seen pictures of the slaves and stuff. That's happening to people in Africa right now.
Yeah, there's more slaves in the world today than during the Civil War.
Well, Anthony Jeselnik had a joke about that. He's like, did you know that there's more slaves now than there ever was? And it really must fucking suck to be the guy that has to count them all.
Oh, my God. We live in a disgusting world ruled by evil people. We really do.
Yeah. But China is brutal on the native African people.
I'm sure they are.
I've seen videos. Like the Africans are pretty brutal too. Like it's tribal. It's like it's a different world.
Yeah.
Like you're rewinding 100 years in time there. But it's brutal. But China they're pulling all these rare earths out. Like I can't remember the name of the rare earth, but there's a byproduct when you make gold and you wash it off. There's this byproduct that comes out that just got thrown away forever, but now you need it to make phone screens. And that's like people are chopping, like you hear about blood diamonds and shit like that. There's like wars in Africa over the discard from the gold.
Yeah. And dude, like,
or not like tribal wars, not like our wars.
And like, I never really, like, once I got hurt, it kind of gave me some perspective on this shit. Like with war, with shit like you're talking blood diamonds. Like, dude, I was telling you earlier today, like I tried a new pain cream on my hand last night and I think it had the opposite reaction. And dude, my hand is just fucking screaming today. It like I didn't get any sleep last night. It's just been fucking brutal today. And like I have great doctors and I have access to any medications I would ever want to try for the most part. Like there is some restriction that I deal with, but like I'm getting great medical care. These guys over there, they're getting a dull knife and a hammer, you know, and no prosthetics, no way to, it's just brutal. It's so brutal.
Yeah.
I do have one more story that we'll highlight here because this is an interesting one. Like I've got two theories on this, so let's just play it real quick and see what you think.
I'm getting my Pakistani passport.
Let me kind of give a gist. This woman moved to Pakistan and instantly asked for everything. Black woman.
I'm getting my Pakistani passport and Pakistani ID. You have Pakistani ID? I'm getting it. Do y'all agree?
What are you doing here?
I don't live here. I'm chilling.
I'm chilling.
You're chilling here. Why are you not taking your flight?
It's none of your business. Now go home.
What demand you want from the Pakistani government or American government?
All right. So the first demand is $20K every 2 weeks.
20K
from the government.
Listen.
Yes.
Jeddah International Airport.
Yes.
Need to go down. Do you hear me? Once it go down, y'all could get out. I'm not talking unless y'all giving me land and 2,000 or more every.
Did you just unplug it? Nick?
Down. Sorry.
My computer was dying, and it came unplugged, and it was going to go down if I didn't.
I was just checking to see if you're okay.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
I know you had a rough night.
I was trying, dude, I've got like 4 surge protectors in here. They're all connected together and everything. It's just a mess. And my dog unplugged the computer, and I looked up, and it's at like 2%. It's screaming. I'm like, oh my God, we're going to lose the podcast here at the end. Okay, so is this woman a delusional communist, or is she a CIA agent?
I don't know. We give Pakistan $32 billion a year. The least they could do is give this woman her $2,000 a week in her land.
At first, I thought she was just a delusional communist. I'm like, all right, this woman's just crazy. The fact that Pakistan is even putting up with this is what gave me the thought that maybe she's CIA. Because I would think that they would instantly go, bitch, get that hijab on and get in your house and shut the fuck up. Like, that's what you do here.
I haven't put too much thought into it. I think it's just funny.
It's hilarious.
If you guys are on Twitter or X or whatever, there is an account called Howling Mutant.
Ooh.
And he has the funniest, terrible tweets. I can't even tell you my favorites on the pod.
It's like my favorite Nazi on Twitter.
Yeah.
Can't play those on this show.
But he's like, all along, all we needed was one sassy black woman to get those Pakis in line.
Oh man, it's hilarious. It's something. All right.
One thing I want to talk about before we go, the Department of Education is getting cut.
Oh, really? Do you think it's going to go completely?
Yes.
Oh, that'd be so good.
So, like, that headline, hopefully we'll go over this USAID headline. I'm waiting for the meltdown from that. And it's the same thing with RFK. So 66% of Americans are unhealthy. Right. But then, and if you look past the trans issue with our former head of the HHS, just look at Rachel Levine.
Oh my God. I forgot
that is not a fucking healthy person.
I forgot that thing was in charge of HHS. It's like,
what
a stark difference between her and him.
Issues. Look at those two sides. That guy.
I can't believe I just called it a her. That's
her. No, call it her.
Okay.
Doesn't matter. Like, let's get past that issue. Because, like, that's where it gets lost, and then you're just transphobic or whatever. That's an unhealthy woman.
Yeah.
Balding, and just, like, not healthy at all. And, like, they're saying that RFK is somehow a worse alternative because the vaccine companies might go bankrupt. Well, why might they go bankrupt, Pocahontas? And same thing with Department of Education. Department of Education was founded in 1979. Reagan almost got rid of it, but he was unable to. In 1979, it's like disputable, but like it's close. U.S. was #1 in education in the world. In 2024, U.S. is ranked 13th in the world. And it's just steadily declined since 1979. So tell me how ending this department's bad. Please. Give me a good case.
Yeah, I can't.
There isn't.
There's not. There's not at all. You know that Rachel Levine played high school football with John Brennan, the head of the CIA?
Oh. Did you know that Barack
Coincidence?
Obama... I said Barack Obama. Barack Obama's mom was an administrator at USAID.
Oh, I did not know. It's been around that long? I didn't even look how long it's been around for.
It was created right at the beginning of the Kennedy administration.
It's wild that they've been operating like an NGO, essentially. And they're like, that's kind of what they're arguing is you can't tell us what to do. We're our own, agency. It's wild.
They were created by executive order, not an act of Congress.
But you can't take it out with executive order. That makes no sense.
You can.
Of course you can.
It at the time, it seemed like it made sense. But what ended up happening was JFK funded his own assassination by starting that. But like we had so many departments just sending money overseas and blah, blah, blah. And it makes sense to have one centralized thing. And what it turned into is just a slush fund for the deep state. And people are like, oh, it's only 0.15% of our national budget. Sure.
Yeah, right.
Well, even if it is.
Even if it is.
even if it is, that money is getting weaponized against the American people.
Yeah.
It's not like it's helping us.
It's none of it is going to anything good. It's going to things that are antithetical to Western civilization. It's like Soros created a government agency and is just destroying from it. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he has a lot to do with
Soros
that.
was doing back then.
Yeah.
No, seriously, like, so Holocaust was in the 40s, right?
Yeah.
So he had to be in his 20s or 30s or 40s then, when that agency was like, I don't know much about that guy except
Me neither.
that
I wonder what he did during Vietnam. You would think that he was making some serious moves then because there was so much social unrest during that time.
Yeah. Oh, you mean the war that we started because of an attack on our ship that never happened?
Yeah. Exactly. Oh, well.
And on that note.
Yeah. So we usually get out of here on the normal music, but I came across this song on Twitter the other day, and I think this is a perfect thing to go out on. So here's The Government Can.
Who can take your money? Who can take your money? With a twinkle in their eye. A twinkle in their eye. Take it all away and give it to some other guy. The government. The government. The government can. The government can. And who can tax the sunrise? Who can tax the trees? Who can tax the trees? Let you run a business and collect up all the fees. The government. The government can. The government can. And the government can, 'cause they mix it up with lies and make it all taste good. Make it all taste good. The government takes everything we make to pay for all of their solutions. Like healthcare, climate change, pollution. Just throw away the Constitution. I wrote that, thank you. And who can give a bailout? Tell us to behave. Tell us to behave. And make the founding fathers roll over in their graves. I don't care if you hate me, I'm going to sing it anyway. Oh, the government can. The government can. And the government can go and mix it up with lies and make it all yummy, 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 yummy. The government takes everything. They're all power hungry and malicious. Their economics are fictitious. Soon we'll have to eat our dishes. Yeah. Delicious. And who can be a failure? Who can be a failure? In so many ways. In so many ways. And instead of getting fired, hey, we'll give ourselves a raise. California, you know what I'm talking about. Government can. And the government can, 'cause they mix it up and like make it all taste good. And the Uncle Sam can, mixes it to lies, get down.